7-1 action. Going near the starlight causes it to get pulled away. This one seemed potentially possible without summons. Although there's not much you can do except keep jumping at it until it maybe decides to work. The only strategy is knowing exactly how close you can be to the starlight before it gets yoinked away, allowing you to jump as close to it as possible. I thought about giving up this level, but got tantalizingly close so many times, and sure enough, it luckily bounced off the platform above it and towards Maxwell, allowing him to just barely grab it in time. "7-2 action. Get to the starlight before one of the developers reaches their finish line." It's another race. Alright, race the developers. Oh. Alright. "7-3 action. Exploding barrels continuously fall out of pipes you have to get past, and some pits are in the path to the starlight. You'd usually want a quick vehicle here, but Maxwell can jump between the explosions safely. The explosion radius is bigger than it appears and stays on screen for longer than you'd expect, but it's possible to thread the needle and jump between all the platforms for another summonless clear. 7-4 action. The starlight is down a long fall and between many spiked balls. Just hold right. Part 2. "7-5 action. The starlight is slowly being lowered into spikes. Maxwell needs to traverse land and hills, then drive a vehicle on the road, and finally swim under platforms to get to the starlight in time. Our easy streak is over. No matter what we use here, it'll be a challenge without strong summons. The bad news is this is possible with a single vehicle. To make that possible, we'll be taking advantage of the weirdest movement quirk in this game. Maxwell can move with both the face buttons and stylus. When you pick up an item with Maxwell's god powers while he's moving, he'll keep moving to where you initially pressed to hold the item. This helps because we need to summon a car to open a gate that will only open by summoning a vehicle. That same car will be used to make every jump Maxwell can't make normally. Since moving the screen to the previously summoned item would take time we don't have, we'll keep it on screen and move Maxwell at the same time by constantly picking it up and dropping it. There's a high platform that's tough but can be gotten up with the diagonally falling car and a perfect jump. If we don't get this in a few attempts, we've already lost, so just reset the level. We can usually drive the car to the right to get it up the platform if jumping out of it wouldn't let Maxwell make it up there himself. Once we get to the water, we need to quickly move Maxwell and the car at the same time again to ride it under the overhangs. The car will also be needed to block a shark from killing Maxwell, and we'll have just enough time to grab the starlight before it's destroyed. This is one of the hardest but most satisfying levels to beat execution-wise. "7-6 action. A villain holds the starlight that Maxwell needs to grab before the people fall into the lava. There are many high platforms, pits, and armed enemies in the way. We're going to need flight, and flying vehicles work perfectly here. Many vehicles, including most flying vehicles, do contact damage if they make contact with people in a specific way. We can use this to kill an enemy and steal their gun. It also helps that ranged weapons are weird in this game and the bullet can't get fired if something is too close to the weapon. Then we can take the gun to the villain and kill them as we can't take the starlight otherwise. 7-7 action. Moving towards the starlight causes the large boulders to fall that instantly kill Maxwell upon touching them. The starlight is on a high platform with a lava pit in front of it. I used natural structures like hill and canyon since they were a good shape to jump from the higher point of the sloping hill onto, and we can reach the starlight with just them. 7-8 action. The starlight will be crushed by spikes that get closer once Maxwell reaches certain thresholds. Walking next to the starlight will crush it before Maxwell can reach it. I did try the summonless for a while, but I don't think any jump arc works here. We'd normally need a strong summon like Black Hole or Shrink Ray, but I was determined to find a better, worse solution. Many steel items aren't destroyed by spikes, so bring the spikes close to the starlight and put them under it to bounce the starlight away before it gets crushed. 7-9 action. The starlight is behind multiple platforms that require Maxwell to go up and down large distances. The security guards are still after Maxwell for the crimes against humanity he's committed between 2-11 action and now. This is a great level to use flying aggressive creatures to add to Maxwell's crimes, and then feed the creatures to make them rideable to fly to the starlight. 7-10 action. People have resorted to guerrilla warfare in an attempt to catch Maxwell. Get to the starlight behind a high platform to escape. We'll be using vehicles to teleport up the platforms. The armed enemies will attack Maxwell, but we can trick them into killing each other. We can force them to ride and dismount our vehicle until they're all grouped up on top of each other, then peek out and hide again. The bazooka will now kill all of them, allowing Maxwell to safely finish the level. 7-11 action. The starlight is on top of a mountain of exploding barrels. Maxwell is in the middle of said exploding barrels. This is just nudging with extra steps. First, slowly push one side of the barrels down and run to the other side to not die. Then push the other side down. Nudging is trickier with the barrels under the starlight, but we can carefully nudge them away too, and safely get the starlight after it falls. 7-1 puzzle. Summon 4 objects that produce sound. We'll just summon a bunch of instruments, and nothing of value was lost. 7-2 puzzle. I think you're supposed to summon a vehicle and use it to go over the fire. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what the objective truly is. I genuinely this is a level I just don't understand. I just don't understand it. What do you want me to do, game? Just tell me. Just gotta jump over the fire, but we have to make... I'm gonna look back at the footage. I'm gonna... What? 7-3 puzzle. Maxwell needs to fall between 3 sets of flags before landing on the ground to spawn the starlight and not fail the level. There's a set directly under where he falls after taking off the helmet. The next set is to the right. Unfortunately, the set after that is too far to the left to ever reach without a summon before Maxwell falls past it and on the ground. Fortunately, I'm a dirty liar again. There is summonless potential here. Maxwell should be able to grab the balloons attached to the flags on his way down. I tried picking up the first balloon many times, but just couldn't. I think what's happening here is the size of the object and speed affect what Maxwell can grab. For example, since I'm using an emulator, I can speed up the game if I want to, but I only do this for testing and not in an actual attempt. And weirdly, while the game is sped up, I can't select things like the helmet to remove it. I believe Maxwell is falling too fast, making him unable to pick up the balloon. Good thing there's a bigger flag attached to that balloon then. Like I said, size also influences if something can be picked up while moving fast, and the flag is legally big enough to grab at high speeds. This next part is tricky. We need to fall between the two flags to trigger the level condition, but we also need to get the balloon stuck on the flag to the left. Getting stuck here allows Maxwell to swing from the rightmost pair of flags to the leftmost one and clear the level without summons. This one surprised me and is one of my favorite summonless solutions. "7-4 Puzzle. Pin down the giant." This is a weird level, because certain big objects have the unique property of being heavy, but only in this specific level when applied to this specific giant. Easy level, but I hate it. Why'd they do that? "7-5 Puzzle. Pulling the levers spawn things, open gates, and spawn the starite. The starite is spawned on a platform that we normally can't reach without a summon and will instead fall into the void. However, one of the levers spawns a steel box. Even while an object is falling, it's still considered a platform. So, with perfect positioning and timing, we can jump off of the falling steel box and into the starite for a no summon clear. "7-6 Puzzle. The starite is in the 4th grate. By running through the tripwire on the only path, the boxes will fall into the lava. The other falling boxes knock Maxwell around and get in the way. But well-timed jumps will let us reach the starite before it sinks in the lava without summons. "7-7 Puzzle. A concrete mixer is driving off the road. Stop it from falling into the water. If it does, you fail." Initially, I did this on stream, and we used animals to block the truck and then put them on top of it to grab the starite. I think we can do even better. We can't solve this like the one where we stopped the boat, since the truck can't be jumped on to flip over like the boat, and even kills Maxwell. But there's one mechanic so incredibly obscure, I'm not even sure if it's documented anywhere, that bothered me that it never came up in this challenge. And it might help us here. When we first load into any level, there's a level start screen we press OK on to start the level and gain control of Maxwell and his notebook. Before we press OK, the rest of the stage is loaded in. And interestingly, certain things can move while on this screen. In this case, the concrete mixer slowly, and I mean very slowly, moves while on the screen. I wanted to see if this could somehow help us here. So, using emulator speedup and save states to test different positions, because it takes an hour for the truck to get to the end of the road on the screen, I found out some interesting things. The truck will eventually get stuck at the end of the road and stay there. Once you press OK and close the hint dialog, it regains movement and drives off in record time. I think that's technically the fastest you can fail a level. At least after starting it in this game, so that's cool. I tested out some other spots, and to my absolute shock, the truck stopped and turned around to spawn the starite. I think what happened here, but I'm only guessing, is that the truck got stuck on the roadblock before it started moving. So instead of knocking it off the road and driving off like normal, it never got a chance to start moving. And in a regular playthrough of this level where you don't solve it like a maniac, putting something in front of it to stop it from moving is what spawns the starite. This is very precise. I tried a bunch of positions with the roadblock until it worked. We still need to get the starite though. After we stop the truck, it turns around and drives back to an earlier point on the road. This allows us to move it without fear of pushing it into the water, and we can run into it to flip it upwards from this direction to grab the starite behind it without summons. I'm extremely happy this worked, because it's such a funny mechanic, and I'm glad I got the chance to talk about it. My only regret is I didn't record my reaction, but it was something like, "What? No way, oh my god!" Or like something like that, you know? 7-8 puzzle. Kill the 2 enemies before they destroy the fighter jet the mercenary is riding. If it's destroyed, you lose. The enemies both have guns. The plan to beat this without summons is pretty simple. Trick them into shooting each other by jumping between them. Once the first one dies, steal their gun to kill the other one. The one flaw in my plan was expecting my ally to help me. What the? I was gonna save you with that. I was gonna use that to save you. Why'd you take the gun if he was just gonna do that? "7-9 puzzle. Get the 3 people on small platforms next to bottomless pits and a shark back to the starting platform. This is why we saved flying vehicles with passenger seats. We can move the vehicle with God mode over the people we're bringing with us in the spot where the passenger seat is to put them in it. Then, usually while still in the air, have Maxwell ride from the front to fly back. That's important because most vehicles we use here can't fly without building up enough speed on the ground first, and what ground? The most difficult passenger to save is near the shark and at a bad angle to put in the vehicle. Dismount the vehicle midair, jump out of the water, and pick it up again before it short circuits. Then, keep dropping it at an angle so you can put the sailor in the passenger seat and fly away. 7-10 puzzle. Sailors attached to rope need to be brought back to the aircraft carrier. Between them are many enemies with powerful explosive weapons, a shark, some naval mines, and an overhang Maxwell needs to swim under. When I came back to this level, I was pretty much out of things that could break ropes. Fortunately, I don't have to. The enemies will shoot at aggressive creatures, so something like a kraken can be placed in front of the battleship and picked up again to cause the shot to break the rope. We can also nudge the battleship with the creature, which we'll need to do since 2 separate explosions are needed to break both ropes and not kill the sailors. We can also use it to blow up the mines by having it swim into them and picked up before dying again. That's great because I used it to scare the sailors. Normally, things move left twice, then right twice. Scaring people will cause this to reset, so they always move away from the creature. Since I needed to not kill them and the kraken is so big, I needed to pick it up constantly at the start. Once there's enough room for the kraken, I could just scare them from a safe distance. Unfortunately, that cool strategy is useless because no matter what I tried, the sailors won't swim underwater themselves and the aircraft carrier can't be pushed close enough to them to trigger the starite spawn. I needed to spawn rideable things to get under the overhang and pull the sailors to the carrier. "7-11 puzzle. Kill all 3 creatures. If they kill 3 creatures you summon, you lose. We'll only be using 1 obviously, but the win condition is just killing the 3 opponents, so even though the ninja I summoned died, I can drop its shuriken on top of the enemies to kill them and win. "8-1 action. A cracked wooden platform, enemy with a gun, lava, and phoenix are obstacles to get to the starite up a high platform. Fortunately, the steel box has a hammer in it to break the wooden platform. We'll need to deal with the enemy and lava with a summon. I use vehicles since they can be used to dismount the enemy in lava, and I can teleport to them instead of falling into lava. The hammer can kill the phoenix. We'll need to nudge the starite down with another summon. 8-2 action. Enemy fighter jets are flying around under Maxwell. One of them has the Starray attached to it. By jumping off the first jet into the other one, we can reach the Starray without summons. 8-3 action. A maze of walls and alternate paths has levers that open gates, including the one that opens the path to the Starray. I was out of flying items and electrical items that could flip switches by the time I came back to this level. We can't put a pool item in the ground to get under this gate either. The red switch we need to flip is so far down a pit that I needed to go back and get some electrical items I already used. In particular, I found that turret has the background property, so that replaced one. An item I was saving, Thunderbolt, was too big for 8-3 action, but could fit just fine in 1-6 action, allowing me to use Mechanic in a smaller area instead. It looks like we might need another summon to get to the Starright's platform, since holding right while falling doesn't get us on it. But by holding left and turning right just under the ceiling, Maxwell can land on the platform to beat the level. 8-4 action. The Starray is on top of 3 gates that buttons open. Catch it before it falls off the level. We only need a summon to put on one button at a time. We can easily jump into the Starray before it falls off. 8-5 action. The Starray is above Maxwell. There are many different gates tied to buttons to open the path. We just do the classic height item plus vehicle combo to get enough height. 8-6 action. Pull both levers to drop the Starray. Each lever also drops enemies. A strange mechanic that helps this level be beaten summonless is that by pressing the second lever quickly after the first one is flipped, it flips instantly so the enemies can't knock Maxwell away from the lever to stop us. 8-7 action. The lever we need to pull to release the Starray is on a high platform. Flipping it also releases guerrilla enemies that want to kill Maxwell. We just use flying vehicles to flip the switch and run for the Starray. 8-8 action. Air vents push Maxwell away from the lever needed to open the gate the Starray is behind. When I tried this on stream, I couldn't get to the lever without a summon since the air vents blow Maxwell away. Look, I already told you I was stupid. 8-9 action. Maxwell needs to get past conveyor belts, lava, spikes, and fire to grab the Starray on a high platform. I was surprised that Maxwell can actually jump over the spikes and make it to the other side. Sometimes. The Starray is painfully close yet out of reach. After testing different jumps, I realized the closest I could get was jumping as close to the fire without getting knocked back, and a perfect damage boost from initially landing on the fire. Once again, I was shocked that it was just barely possible summonless. 8-10 action. There are multiple high platforms and mines. By bringing a diamond with him, Maxwell can open the gate the Starray is behind. We just need height items. The mines can be destroyed by throwing the diamond at them. 8-11 action. Dig or trigger a tripwire that breaks the rope and makes the Starray fly up. The balloons despawn from going off screen, making it fall back down eventually. But Maxwell still needs to get there from a bottomless pit. I just use flying vehicles. Most don't fit in the narrow path, requiring Maxwell to get on the vehicle while falling. 8-1 puzzle. Get the 3 rocks near the astronaut. You're supposed to trade a summon to peacefully get the rocks, but nah. By stealing the rocks, the Martians rudely get angry and attack. The first rock is easy to get. We can jump to the other platform and jump back to drop it there. The Martian will fall down to the lower area. If we go down there, we can't get back up without a height summon. Yeah, I lied again, sue me. There's a spaceship up a hill by the astronaut. It's slowly, and again I mean slowly, rolling down. And because nothing can ever be easy, it eventually stops before falling down and isn't in reach. With a perfectly timed rock throw and jump, we can ride it while it's facing down. Don't get near the astronaut while inside, since they'll get on top of it. The Martian that's angry is under us. Baiting them to the left side of the screen and then moving allows us to fly to the rightmost Martian before they catch up. Dismount the spaceship so that it's blocking the Martian from attacking us after we pick up the rock. Quickly ride it again and angle the spaceship to fly out of the hole. Now we can intentionally pick up the astronaut and drop the rock as far to the left as possible. Fly to the top right to lure the 2 angry Martians that direction. Once they're in the right spot, quickly fly down to the 3rd rock. The plan is to not leave the ship to pick it up so we don't die from taking too much damage. With all 3 rocks near the astronaut, the Starite spawns. All we need to do now is fly out of the hole before we get beat up, which I do for another no summons clear. "8-2 puzzle. Reveal the imposter." Most ways of doing that are with violence. That's no issue for me. 8-3 puzzle. Summon a background object in the sky and kill the skunk. We just established that I love violence. As for the sky, we summon planets like your mom. 8-4 puzzle. Teddy bears are constantly being pushed into fire. Save one and give it to the girl. We can pretty easily just jump and grab one before it falls into the fire and bring it to the girl for a summonless clear. 8-5 puzzle. Get the girl near the helicopter. Zombies surround her and Maxwell from both sides. If the girl gets turned into a zombie, you lose. This may look hopeless summonless, but there's a graveyard to the left with a corpse that we can, borrow. The zombie usually eats it before we can pick it up, but with a little luck, we'll eat it first, grab it first. The zombies near Maxwell will be pacified and follow him while he holds the corpse. The girl can still turn into a zombie since she's running around like a maniac, so follow her until the zombies group up together. Bring them all to the helicopter. The girl will eventually run back to Maxwell, but then run away before triggering the Starite spawn due to the zombies chilling here. Jump up and hold right into the back of the helicopter to gradually move it into the sky. Eventually, we'll be able to go under it and bring the zombies with us. The girl will now run close enough to spawn the Starite for a summonless clear. 8-6 puzzle. Kill the alien in the UFO. Keep at least one cow alive or you lose. I tried beating this one summonless for a long time, but the alien and the UFO can't get pushed far enough off screen to despawn. Cows can attack the UFO, but only from above, and they die instantly from making contact with it. I feel like there might be some precise trick to attack the alien here without a cow dying, but I couldn't find it. So we brought one cow to the right corner of the screen that the alien doesn't go to. Then we attacked the UFO with weapons to break it and kill the alien on the ground. 8-7 puzzle. An alien encased in ice is up a high platform. get them to the truck without them or the mad scientist dying. Made more difficult with the bottomless pit. I use a rideable animal to nudge the ice block to the right, giving me more room to place the animal and teleport to get up the platform. Once we're on the other side, we need a lucky push that gets the ice block safely on the other side of the pit, and is far enough away from the mad scientists that they don't follow the ice block and jump into the pit themselves. From there, we can just push the ice block up the slope. Eight puzzle. Get the large pipe chunk up to the higher platform. We'll use rope objects again here. Getting up the pipe is tricky, but you can jump off of the corner with a running jump to get on top of it. You can't stand on that corner, and don't ask me why. Or do, I don't care. We can easily pull it up from there. Nine puzzle. Press all 3 buttons at the same time to open the gate to the safe containing the starite. For some reason, I tried beating this without summons, even though there's only me and the security guard. We need a summon, and I'm not lying this time. Just place Maxwell on the rightmost button and a bad object on the middle one. The security guard will run over and press the final button to open the gate. Quickly grab the starite before this guard attacks a child. 8-10 puzzle. Get the alien and hologram near the UFO. The UFO is broken, so we can't fly it, but there is summonless potential here, and I'm not lying again. Telling the truth feels amazing. There are 2 secret agents that will attack Maxwell and the alien. Get close to the first one to lure them towards us and hide in the UFO until they fall down by the other secret agent. Run to free the alien while they attack each other. Quickly drop down so we witness the secret agent kill their colleague. This is important because for some reason, aggressive people that normally aren't aggressive will attack you after they kill someone else. But if Maxwell witnesses their misdeed, they become embarrassed and just don't attack anymore. I honestly have no idea why. Sometimes if you get out of their attack range and go back in, they'll attack again, but they usually don't anymore. The alien being near the left wall will count as them being near the UFO. Now we need to get the hologram near it too. We can push it to the left, but of course it isn't that easy. We need to hope for a lucky bounce for it to get close enough to trigger the starite spawning, which usually takes over a minute. Now for the fun part. The starite is all the way up there, and Maxwell is all the way down here. We have to hope the secret agent can survive one shot from the drop stun gun to start attacking us. If not, we have to restart as we have no way out. If they do, we also probably have to restart because getting a damage boost out of here is basically pure luck. All we can do is push the hologram over here for a little extra height and keep jumping and hoping we're shot at the perfect angle to get out of the hole. And after a few hours of attempts, I finally did for a summonless clear. Of all summonless solutions, don't do this one the most. 8-11 puzzle. Have a vehicle touch the power lines from below them. You usually want a large vehicle to drive into the power lines, but we can also push some into the power lines. Thanks for watching. I'm trying to get the final part of the series out soon, so stay tuned if you want to.